What's up everybody, OCTurboJoe back again with another video for the 2015 STI. As you can see, there's many obvious changes. I've been very busy, changed shifts, so I don't have enough free time to film for you guys, but I made some time to swap some parts out. Obviously, you guys seen my equal length header. It told me equal length. It's down there, nice and wrapped. Sounds really good. Still running a stock downpipe down there, which is also wrapped. The parent AOS, same thing. Does a real good job not letting oil through. And I made a little change here. Just added this elbow, and that long bulkhead fitting that I didn't use last time is being used. So there's another brake here, another B nut, push fitting. Same as here, it goes straight here, so it's easy to disconnect and check rather than pulling this off, which is super tight. By the way, that little segment that I cut shows that my hose was free of oil, so nothing went in there. Some guys have reported having oil go through. Well, anyway, it's dry, nothing goes in there. It shows because whenever I pull up my intercooler, there's no oil at all. As far as the backside, the PCV valve, I've checked the hose a few times and I got nothing. So the Moroso does its job really well, and I've had no leaks since I've changed to this setup. The sealant actually works really well, even for the PTFE or PFTE, whatever it is. Does a way better job than Teflon. Silicone down there where I sealed the bottom heating plate. Never had a leak since then. So I know it's shitty that Perrin sells something for this much and a lot of inherent problems come up, but I like the customization of it, so that's why I stuck with it. I know it's flawed. Like I said, every AOS out there is flawed, no matter which one you go with. You know, there's pros and cons, but you know, go with what suits you best for your application. Cobb boost control solenoid hidden down here. What else I have here? Oh, and the fuel stumble kit, which I made myself. Cobb sells it for $300 now that they have that relocated reference line that goes to the blow-off valve rather than running from the number 4 cylinder, which is capped. They sell this kit for like $20. I just went to O'Reilly's and got some vacuum tees and adapters and whatnot and made it possible. Spent like about $13 maybe. I put a damper here just to quiet it down, and I may redo this feed line right here because this looks pretty ghetto. I used Oetiker clamps. I ordered some more. I'm gonna redo this again. If you look at the stock one, it's really confusing because here's the feed line coming from the firewall. It goes through a damper, and there's a balance line going to the regulator. But so after it feeds the rails, it comes back here, and then it goes to the regulator, it returns, and there's another damper, I guess, to keep it quiet. But I don't know, I don't understand this part here. I mean, all you engineers can probably guess why this is here. I'm guessing just for noise and perhaps like something to do with tuning, but it's causing people problems with stage 2, I guess. I haven't had any problems, but just something I just want to get out of the way. That way I don't have to retune again. So the other obvious thing I did was replace and relocate the coolant lines, which used to be sitting right over here. I didn't like that because it spread heat towards the MAF housing, and being that the MAF is in there, my IT sensor is in there as well, so whatever it reads, it'll tell the ECU to shoot me this much fuel and add so much timing and boost and stuff. So when you hit a heat limit, the ECU is going to pull back timing, reduce fuel, and dial back boost. So I just want the engine to run as optimally as possible, and that's what I did here. And it actually helps. I mean, it's not going to add power, but it keeps the engine from, you know, not pulling timing as much and not knocking. Because before I did this mod, when I sit in traffic or sit for long periods of time and start moving, start getting on it, I get like, you know, feedback knocks. So this fixed it pretty good, and I'm keeping it that way. Yeah, you obviously see this here. I made another air box, made a Kydex T as a matter of fact. And last time I used Kydex V, which is pretty thin. And Kydex T I use a 1/4 inch thick, or nominally 1/4 inch thick, because if you look at here, it's almost 3 times as thick, and it takes a lot of heat to bend it. It took me 8 hours to make this thing. That includes measuring, cutting, riveting, and applying 4 coats of VHT wrinkle black. It's really solid if you do a sound check with a Cobb airbox here. Here's the silicone holes. Sounds pretty hollow, but if you were to tap it here, this goes nowhere. I've had it on hot days, 92 degrees ambient. Yeah, it just stays in place. It doesn't bend, doesn't warp like the other one did. Yeah, temps are good as well, especially when I start going after a stop. But on the Cobb box, I've seen temps go up to 180 Fahrenheit. That's really high, and obviously it pulled timing back for me, lowered boost just to save the motor. But with this, the highest I've seen sitting in traffic for a long time is 135, 140-ish. And then I also cut down here, I cut the mesh open, so that way air can be fed through. Just use a Dremel, a blade, or whatever. Just be careful. I ordered a separate one just to make sure I don't fuck up my original one. So that's what it is. I might put a duct over there and route a hose going towards the filter area. As far as the filter area, I'm using AM dry flow 21206 Delta Kilo is a part number for the 5-inch mouth, and still using the Cobb MAF housing, which is a plastic one, so it doesn't soak up that much heat as metal like most of the cold air intakes on the market. So I got a 2 3/4 inch hump hose here going to a 2 3/4 inch 45-degree pipe, and from a 2 3/4 inch hose adapter to I'm getting tongue tied here, 3.25 inch, which is the outer diameter of the Cobb MAF housing. Right there's a Grimspeed lightweight crank pulley in red, which I installed. And there's a lot of controversy about this being detrimental to your engine, because people think that the crank requires a harmonic balancer damper. The stock one has rubber, but it's no damper at all. The engine's already balanced, less vibration because of the horizontally opposed design. So I've used lightweight crank pulleys in previous cars before, never had any problems. So this shouldn't be a problem at all. But yeah, it does offer quick response and light throttle feel. And then another thing is, you don't see it, but I installed oil pickup from Killer Bee. Okay, so here's my oil pressure as it stands. After I installed the Pro Sport gauge, about that much PSI. Temps are that much in Fahrenheit. So I'm getting a little concerned. Okay, so what you see before you is a Killer Bee oil pickup tube and windage oil baffle tray. I'll be installing these both at the same time. So if you follow me here, there's the header. I took it off because the oil pan would have fit through. There's the oil pan right there, and it's mangled. Yeah, I just couldn't stand a chance against this one. So I don't know if you can see, it's all bent to shit. But on the bright side, I ordered another one. So I'll be replacing that seal right there in the back, as well as O-rings for the dipstick tube. Right there is the Killer Bee, another Killer Bee item. There you go, oil temp sensor bung slash drain plug. Works really well. That's what I use for my oil temps. And let's take you under the car. Sorry I couldn't film taking the pan off because all you'll hear is me cussing the whole time. But here it is. So it's not cracked. But I just want to, just replace it just for peace of mind, kind of like the AOS. Here's your baffle. It's really open. That's why you have a lot of windage. Windage is bad for your oil because first of all, it creates air pockets, which is what windage is, and or aeration. I'm sorry. Windage is when the crank hits the oil and causes drag, so you don't want that either. And here's the oil pickup if you guys want to see. I gotta clean all that gasket, all the old gasket material, mating surface. I gouged that the flange there a little bit, but that's why you got 3-bond to fill up the voids, but that's about it right there. I started on the driver's side, worked my way on the passenger side, and then just fried the shit out of it until the front came down. And of course I had to jack the motor up. As far as the bolts in the back, I didn't jack up the motor until afterwards, until I pulled the pan down. Yeah, I'm gonna go install the Killer Bee unit, so be right back. Alright, so it's fully installed. As you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts holding the baffle as well as the pickup, in addition to the 2 here. And it looks really good. You can see how low profile it is. It's close to the crank, so none of the oil will reach up there and interfere. Then also the cylinder head ports here, they aren't blocked. They can move in freely through the crankcase. So you got the blow-by gasket just going in and out, not being blocked. The old one, so they're oriented. The orientation is like this, going up, and you have the ports coming in, so you see all the walls of blockage, versus this is all open. And like I said, there's a little tray here that oil can just sit here and hang while the crank just beats on it. Now it's directional. It's really high up there, so nothing can hit the crank as far as the oil and windage. And I'll just be waiting on my oil pan when it comes in. It'll be a couple of days, so I'm gonna have to cover all this up. So I've been fortunate not to have my oil pickup crack on me, even though there was a low oil pressure scare. But you know, it's something that I wanted to do for a long time that I haven't got to, and I'm glad I did it. It's not for the faint-hearted. Pulling your pan is not a easy task to do. I bent my oil pan trying to take it off. And I ordered one and came in 2 days, and no problem putting it back in. But as far as the windage tray, I wanted to get one just because I was already down there, and you know, this design is pretty flawed as well. There's lots of openings where oil can just slosh up and cause windage on the crank, which creates drag. Also aeration, blow by, all that stuff. You know, you don't want that. You don't want drag. So yeah, that's what I did, and I was pretty happy with it. So I used to run Ineos 5W30. I did run Rotella T6, and I didn't like it before, so I switched to Ineos because some guys had some great success with it, I guess. But watching the temps go up to 220-ish and seeing that the oil pressure was pretty low, it kind of scared me. So I ate my words about Rotella T6, and I'm using it again. So yeah, I guess, you know, everybody uses it. Everybody has so much success with it. So I just might as well stick with it. Okay, so this is post Killer Bee install, and there's my oil pressure. It's within range now, acceptable range, 14 psi at idle. Temps are at operating temps, 210 average. So yeah, significant improvement over the previous, well, the stock oil pickup as well as the previous oil. The funny thing is that my Blackstone oil analysis came out really good for the Ineos, especially for having an AOS which dumps oil back into the crankcase and reuses it over and over. I haven't had any contamination or fuel contamination from my rich tune or anything unusual. Everything wears fine, so that's a good thing about it. So being that I run Rotella T6, I'm just happy that my motor is putting good pressure when the temps are really high, and it's peace of mind that my motor is going to be safe as long as I don't get stupid with it. My goal with this build is to fix the flaws from the stock tune or the stock setup. Other than the weak pistons, I'm not modding for maximum power. I'm modding for better response and reliability. Everybody's going to down pipes and all that, and I don't want that. I just want equal pressures and temps from the equal length manifold. Better fuel delivery, I guess, from here. I want oil to not go into intake and free up restriction from there. Run the cat back, you know, make it sound good. So that's pretty much my goal. Like I said, I'm not here for stupid power. Other than that, I think I covered everything. Next week is my dyno, so I'll probably make a video and show you guys that and see how much power, extra power I make over what I have now. Like I said, I'm not going for max numbers. I don't give a shit how much power you make, you know, I just want mine to be reliable and fun. So that's it for today. If you like what you see, again, like and subscribe. See you guys later.